Good afternoon, everybody. I hereby declare that the February meeting of the Citrus County Aviation Advisory Board is in session. I hope that everybody has had a wonderful January, a good Super Bowl Sunday. Seriously, was anybody surprised at the outcome? No. Disappointed, maybe. I get that for some, but the surprise, I don't know. It's kind of what I was thinking. Before we do anything else, if I could please ask everybody to stand and join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. So we have a few new members. This is the start of the new term for 3 out of the 7 board members. We have Barry Simon joining us. He's been a long-time attendee of the Aviation Advisory Board meetings as the chairman. President, chairman, or what is your title there with the EAA? Barry.
I'm president of the
President.
Yes.
President of the Experimental Aircraft Association. These are the aircraft. We don't know that they're going to fly, so we're doing experiments on them to see if they will. Charlie Carr was reappointed, and by the BOCC, and Ryan Noggle was appointed as well to take the place of the illustrious Gene Davis, who decided not to continue on. Anyway, welcome to you folks. We have some county officials here. Forgive us for one moment. We need them to promise up and down that they're going to do everything right. So,
if you could stand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Charles Carr.
I, Barry Simon.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, to protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida.
and that I am duly qualified
And I'm duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution
to hold office under the Constitution
of the state,
of the state,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
perform and accept the duties
perform the expected duties
of a member of the Aviation Advisory Board
of a member of the Aviation Advisory Board,
on which I am about to enter.
which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
thank you very much. Having said all that, do you mind letting us know who's here, Ms. Petty?
Good afternoon. This is a regular meeting of the Aviation Advisory Board, this 12th day of February 2026. In attendance, we have Chair Heiko Kallenbach, board members Mark Klingel, Charles Carr, Barry Simons, Brian Noggle, and Patrick Crippen. Also in attendance is Todd Regan, Aviation Project Manager.
Thank you very much. One additional housekeeping item that our bylaws require us to do every year, we elect a new chairman. To do, and I will do this myself, is over the next month, read over the bylaws. Anybody that doesn't have them, raise your hand, and Todd will be sure that he gets you a copy.
I put them in this packet.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much. Take a look and see if there's anything that maybe ought to be adjusted, changed, and so forth, and let's bring that to the March meeting, if you don't mind, and we'll move forward from there. Sound good? All right. Old business. With Lakuchi Tech College Airframe and Power Plant Program. With Lakuchi Tech, we'll be presenting to the BOCC at its next meeting, Thursday the 26th. We have a letter, the Aviation Advisory Board has a letter of endorsement for this program that we have written and sent to the BOCC. And my desire is that somebody from this board read that letter into the record as part of public speaking time on the 26th. I unfortunately cannot be here. I'll be out of town. Patrick, you were somebody that brought this to us to begin with. Would you be ready, willing, and able to read this into the record? And be sure to let them know when you first get up there that you are representing the Aviation Advisory Board, and that way you get 5 minutes instead of 3. I don't know how slowly you read, but it might.
Big words in there, I need record.
And no pictures, unfortunately.
I graduated Christopher High School. So
Well, there you go. So did my kids. So there you have it. Todd, is there anything else with Lakuchi Tech that needs to be talked about?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I think you covered everything.
Okay, good. Second old business is DRC Sports, the Citrus Kids Triathlon that we hope to run in. What's the name of the park? Bicentennial. Thank you. I knew it started with a B. Bicentennial Park, and they want to do some amount of the bicycling, I believe, on the runway at Crystal River. So, if you don't mind, later on in this, we'll ask you to have a presentation, present what you have. Thank you very much. Todd, hangar status report.
At Inverness, we have 16 T hangars, 0 box. We have 3 vacancies, 4 on the wait list, 3 are pending, 0 renewals. And at Crystal River, we have 20 T hangars, 2 box, 2 vacancies, 7 on the wait list, 2 are pending, and 1 renewal. So our wait list is dwindling down a little bit. We have some non-serious aviators, and then we have some serious ones.
So, do you think that the dwindlees are the non-serious aviators that weren't planning on renting anyway? They just got tired of re-upping their name on the list?
Yes, when I first started working here, the list was quite large, and it was come to find out that people were just recycling their name over and over and over again. But now that we have implemented a $200 non-refundable fee to be on this list, all of the serious people have stuck around, and the non-serious have left.
Gotcha. Makes perfect sense. Obviously, we always want the wait list, the list of applicants, to be longer than the list of vacancies. So, if to the extent that ever ceases to be, then we'll want to see what we need to do to attract more people, because we don't want those hangars sitting empty. There's no point in that. Unless, of course, Ryan wants to run some A&P programs in the empty hangars, which is also a possibility. All right, thank you very much. Nothing from the county commissioners at this point, other than we're going to go see them on the 26th. On to major status reports, major project status reports.
Okay, Crystal River's 927 extension. Well, guess what? We're still in an environmental assessment. Our edits have passed to the Orlando ADO with the FAA, and it should be with their legal team for review. And the project's new completion date has been pushed out by a month, October 19th. Still having some issues with, used to be 60 days for review. A lot of it now is 120 days. So we're working with them as best that we can, and if we can find a way to get this done as quickly as we can, then I'm going to find it.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Crystal River fuel replacement, fuel tank replacement.
All right. We had a meeting with all of our parties on February 5th, and if ICE would like to come up here and speak on that a little bit, they're more than welcome to. We sat down with our contractor and our consulting firm and addressed some issues to hopefully get a project by tomorrow, a schedule by tomorrow, to let us know how we can plan with James when it comes to the amount of fuel time or the tanks are going to be down for. We have a few backup plans, one being having some fuel trucks on site that while the fuel farm is down, we can use those trucks, or having some type of temporary storage tank as well to serve, which I believe to be the more critical fuel would be avgas, but still being able to serve both fuels. And once I get that schedule, you'll be notified, hopefully by the next meeting.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Alex, is there anything that you have to add to that?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Alex Vaca. I'm an aviation planner with Infrastructure Consulting and Engineering. We had a very productive meeting recently with the contractor, the design engineer, and our team. I think the biggest push right now is the long lead items, ordering the tanks themselves, trying to get the project, at least the clock started on those. Some of those take several months to get, as you know, materials takes time to get in. But overall, we're seeing a lot of action by both parties. I think in the next few weeks, Todd will continue to see progress and then be able to report back in March
Great.
with things ordered and moving.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Crystal River Aegis Survey.
All right, our obstruction analysis was on March 10th. Our ortho imagery was on March 20th. And some more critical information and final survey. These are scheduled in the future, is due on April 10th. So the reason why I'm telling you this is that it's still going to take some time. Once FAA has it, they go through all of this information, and then our Aegis will be updated, and it's tentatively for July 26th. So all the work has basically been done. It's just going through the process.
Awaiting the FAA's analysis.
Correct. It's the typically 3 to 4 month lead time, the 90 to 120 days that I keep hearing so much about. Hopefully it's done sooner than that, but I'm planning for the worst.
And what is the next step after that in terms of restoring the VNAV minimums to that approach?
I believe it's like the box gets checked and that geographical information gets updated, and those restrictions are lifted for 927. And this will also help out for the runway extension in the future.
Gotcha. Thank you. Crystal River Airfield lighting replacement.
Yes, not much to pass, just developing a scope for bid.
Inverness Business Park.
We had a pre-con meeting January 28th. It was very good to get everybody in the same room and get on board. We're hoping that our tentative construction date starts on March 30th. It could be early April. So gopher tortoises really can jam us up. So the survey isn't what takes a long time. It's actually relocating them and getting your permits. That could take anywhere to 60 days. So hopefully you start seeing some dirt pushed in the April timeframe, and should be final completion is probably in about a year from that. Could be dipping into Q2 because of the gopher tortoises, and then we should have a nice new business park.
Wonderful. The corporate hangar in Inverness.
All right. We had a very productive meeting to go over with our consultant, ICE, and going over the cost deltas for this project. Things are starting to get more expensive. But once I'm still waiting on that information to come back to me, hopefully by Friday, by Wednesday of next week. I'll have that information, and then we'll start our negotiating with our assigned tenant, and start moving this design further into 90%.
Inverness Master Plan and DBE.
Another great meeting we had, January 29th. I know Barry was there, might be able to speak a little bit on that, but it was a good meeting, just kind of more of an introduction, kind of seeing where, and I know Alex can talk on that as well, since he was one of the presenters. Some forecasts, seeing a little bit of what this airport could do, what it could handle, capacity, and going over based aircraft. And it's not the real fun stuff just yet. That's coming up very soon. All the development things and future planning projects, that's when people will start to get more interested in it. But it was a good meeting by all, and we have a few extra meetings coming up. Do you know any dates? Thank you, Alex.
No, you explained that perfectly, and it's starting to get to the point of being exciting. And one of the things I'd like to share with the board is, at the meeting, there was some brainstorming involved and some new ideas, concepts about the access road coming in, and maybe revitalizing where the veterinary county vet area is, animal shelter is, the property next to it that's kind of been a dumping grounds, maybe reusing that in over the 20-year span of the airport. So just really neat. I think it's exciting to put on our thinking caps and try to make the airport the best it can be. Meeting dates, so there's a couple different things. There's two prongs to this project. The one we just talked about is the master plan itself. We had a master plan committee meeting to go over the forecast, the inventory, facility requirements, and then we just started to get into some development alternatives. That's what we talked about. Taking those notes back, we are pushing forward into the alternatives and taking some of those ideas and making them into concepts that you can see visually on paper, and coming up with some other questions and talking points for our next meeting. That's what's going on that side. The second part of this project is a public outreach. So obstructions is a major factor at Inverness. There are trees that are penetrating the approaches on both runway ends, and the FAA has asked us to, in preliminary to an environmental assessment for removing those trees, to reach out to the public and the surrounding communities and assess their willingness to remove and replace these obstructions with lower trees or plants, other species that would not be encroaching on the airport's airspace. So we have been working on that for several months, and we have a sub-consultant that's going to be sending out mailers, and there's a lot of things in the works for that effort. So when we talk about upcoming public meetings, we'll have one more master plan committee meeting before we start showing the public the different design concepts for the master plan itself. For the public outreach, that's going to go straight to public meetings, and that's basically a survey, and we've refined that to make it as painless as possible, because the word survey, automatically everybody's like, no way, Jose. But we're trying to make it as easy as possible so that we can get feedback to the FAA in hopes that, I think it's always difficult to guess what the FAA is thinking, but I think the FAA wants to just get a finger on the pulse if everybody's like, absolutely do not touch my trees, or if there's maybe a community effort to make the airport safer and to keep ultimately the full length of the runway, because what you're looking at, honestly, today is the trees are penetrating to the point that there needs to be displacements on both ends. So we're trying to get ahead of it. Right now, you don't have displacements, but we need to get this EA rolling, the environmental assessment rolling, and get to the point where we can start removing some of the trees.
Are the trees on public or private land?
Both. So that we have an obstruction map that we can share with you. I'll deliver that to Todd so that he can share. We have taken LiDAR data of the entire property and surrounding community. That's what we're going to use. There's a website being developed right now that's for the public to see where the obstructions are, and we've made graphics to show how the approach path is inhibited by the trees, and if we remove them, obviously you won't have to move the runway. If they remain where they are, you have to raise the approach, which makes the path of touchdown further down the runway to clear it. So we're going to explain the impacts that these trees are having, and hopes to partner with the community, and ultimately for the sustainability of the airport, we need to work together to try to solve this problem.
So there's no requirement for the families that live on either end to agree to have their trees shortened or replaced by smaller ones?
To answer your question, it's about 6 steps ahead from now. Unfortunately, an environmental assessment is required because of the impacts. It's triggering several NEPA requirements. There's Holden Park, where some trees need to be removed. The community itself, these triggers are causing a need for an environmental assessment. So let's say the environmental assessment is completed. When you get into the obstruction removal phase, you're still looking at easement acquisition potentially, or volunteers. That would be ideal for the airport, but, and then ultimately if eminent domain or taking would be necessary, that's where I'm saying it's pretty far down the road from today. But I think the goal right now is to just
Get a
show the
pulse.
problem and try to see if everybody can work together to solve it.
One more question. You mentioned the animal shelter. Todd, where are we with having that be relocated to the new facility in Lecanto? Any idea? Is that still a pipe dream in somebody's mind?
No, I don't think it's a pipe dream. I just don't have, it's not one of my projects. I don't have preview information of it.
Yeah. So we don't know whether it's a week, a month, a year, or a decade away?
I mean, I can,
I've been following a little bit of it, but they're running into costs increases right now.
Right.
So that's what they got to resolve right now.
yeah.
That's what the paper's saying.
Yeah.
All the bids came in higher than the money that was approved.
I almost don't have anything to say. Will Cozy said, my business, as you know, is fire protection engineering, and so I'm looking at partnering with some of those that are coming in and do that. The exact information you just got and received is correct.
Okay.
So it's not even going to be small months. It could be 6 months. It depends.
So
how
we really
everything's-
don't know when we'll have access to that animal shelter, the current facility on the airport.
As long as it's in the next 20 years, it's applicable to the master plan.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We hope 20 years.
That's why, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities and like you said, brainstorming, a think tank and
Yes. I think it's safe to assume that it should be considered as part of the master plan.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Barry, you were at the meeting on the 29th. Do you have anything to add?
Not really much. I mean, Alex covered most of it, and really, I think the good part is this was just kind of the preliminary, as Alex had stated, and it gave an opportunity for us to kind of figure out what ways are best for the public, and then of course the public will get on there. But the also, having knowledge, like I have more knowledge of the airport because I'm there a lot, and some of the buildings that were on there that are not going to last another 20 years, so they updated that. And that's what this process is about, is getting it shaped, and then of course public opinion will shape even more.
Okay. Thank you. We have an update on the fire station.
Swift Mud and FDOT permits have been approved and that's about it.
No idea when we'll break ground on that then.
I believe we're still at 30% design. I check in with the fire department once a month and just try to get, hey, what's going on? They just tell me what the latest is, and that's
Gotcha.
really about it. But
Okay. All right. Inverness and Crystal River AWAS replacements.
all right, we are developing a bid package for March. So hopefully go out to bid in March and get this project started. A new tenant brought to my attention with Crystal River, and I would like to ask Heiko and Charlie, since you guys fly around there the most, AWAS's frequency, I think it's 118.
725.
Do you have any, do you get any interference from other airports when it comes to that?
I haven't heard any.
Because I'm getting reports that it's conflicting with another airport in Georgia. So when you're listening to the weather, you're also listening to Georgia. So
Obviously, if you're coming in from the north and you're
Yes.
high enough and you listen out far
Yes.
enough, that could be. But the local traffic, I'm not aware that there's ever been an
Okay.
instance of that. Now, certainly the Common Traffic Advisory frequency, 2272.
725.
Yeah. That is shared with a lot of other airports,
Yes.
Inverness,
Yes.
Euronight, and so forth. So that's certainly a common frequency. But the AWAS, I'm not aware that that's really an issue.
okay, I just wasn't sure if I needed to bring this up with the technician who manages this, and if we need to change frequencies or anything like that. I don't know if that was really necessary, but if it's just one person telling me this, and yeah, you're possibly flying at a higher altitude, and he was coming from the north.
Okay, yeah, that's probably why.
Over Gainesville at 10,000 feet, there's no interference.
Okay,
At least it wasn't last time I tried it.
okay, all right.
Well, there it is. Okay. Minor status reports. Airport signage. I understand we're going to have a presentation from Alex in a little bit as to
Correct.
some draft renderings. The Air Force ionospheric experiment.
It doesn't look like we have any updates, but we do. I talked with Ralph from the Air Force, and he said that because of space weather and that they have to push this out like the August, September, October timeframe. Not a big deal. Yet again, it's just an antenna and sensors that are out on a small footprint at the airport for a few weeks, and then it's gone. They do testing and they move on to another airport.
Good enough.
More to follow.
Electric meter retrofit at the county managed airport T hangars.
All right. Okay. Inverness was not a problem. In and out, no issue there.
As always, it's
As
a
a-
Crystal River troublemaker.
Crystal
every
River.
single time.
First of all, both projects are done. Power's applied. Everything's good. But we did have about 4 days worth of non-power at Crystal River's T hangars, just dealing with a processing issue with the county, Duke, and we figured out the bug. We got it solved, but lessons learned. But everything's good on that end.
Rumor had it somebody just didn't throw the switch, and then when a user did in fact throw the switch, everything was working fine. Just a rumor. Just a rumor. All right, so we can take this off our agenda then.
Correct, sir.
Good, good.
Can I ask why the county did that?
Why did we do it? I would say a few reasons right off the bat is whenever I would have to do a pre or post inspection, and if a tenant has already shut off the power, how can I open up the hangar door and show the new tenant that the door's open properly or the lights work? So that was a constant issue. And then it seemed like when I first came here, there was some tenants that brought up another issue, which was you're paying a connection fee, and most of the tenants are only using about 2 or 3 kilowatts worth of power, but the connection fee was like $38. So
Every month.
every month. So, and it just made sense that you're not happy, we're not happy. I think the best way to make both parties happy, which doesn't happen often, is if we can take on that burden of electrical power, that bill, and it's nominal. That way, obviously don't abuse it, and we can still check our facilities, and actually it worked out today, yesterday actually. I was looking at one and I found that the lights need to be replaced. I wouldn't have known that if a tenant just moved in. So,
Okay.
yep. And that's for both T hangars at Crystal River and the T hangar at Inverness.
Good deal. Replacing lighting for shade hangars is going to happen after the painting is complete?
Yeah, they actually already started both paint and lighting, not at the exact same time, but they were starting to remove all of the old fixtures from the shade hanger. So if you see a bunch of planes out in the apron out there, that's why. And then once that stuff is removed, the painters are already out there pressure washing everything and get everything ready for paint, and then we'll have new lighting installed out there.
Great. And sheriff hangar and office, also awaiting schedule?
Correct, sir.
Helicopter concrete pad, complete?
Shiny and new.
Very nicely done. All right. Another thing we can take off our agenda. Presentations. Who wants to go first?
The first one up should be Chris Moling with DRC Sports.
Good afternoon, Chris Moling, DRC Sports. I got a brief, hopefully brief, little PowerPoint I put together for you guys. We talked my last time here, the presentation about what our intentions are. We're a few steps ahead of that right now, so I wanted to kind of bring you up to speed. We've done the application with the FAA. We're just waiting on the response back from them, but I don't know how to. There we go. All right, so just to give you a little background on what the event purpose is, this is a youth-focused event promoting fitness and confidence with kids. If you guys do come out to it, you'll see it's a fantastic event. We've had upwards of 400 kids involved with this event. The part affecting the airport will be a smaller portion because it's just the seniors. So about 2/3 of our athletes are the juniors, the younger kids. And as they get older, they either get out of it or they transition into adult triathlons. But it's a very family-friendly, community-oriented event, and it's sponsored by the Citrus County Education Foundation. It used to be by United Way, initially put it on, but when they decided to move on, the CCEF took it over, and Shonda runs it, and it's a fantastic event for them, for the kids. It consists, just so for your edification, basically 3 events. We have a junior event for the little kids. Those are ages 5 to 10. The senior divisions are 11 to 15. Like I said, we don't have as many of those kids, but they do about twice the distance. And our challenge there is a 3-mile bike course for that in that small area around Bicentennial. And then we have a Try for Fun division, which is something that I came up with, where it's a non-competitive event, but it allows parents to do an event with their child. So we had so many like 6 and 7, 8-year-old kids that were afraid of doing it on their own. It was too much, but they could do it with mom or dad, and they could go in together. They can swim, bike, and run together. So that's a really cool addition to our event that makes it real nice. But they do the junior course on that. So why are we here? We're talking about the airport utilization. The portion of the bike course for the senior division would utilize that, and I'll go into that a little bit more. But we are required to make sure that the bike course is on pavement. We can't have them riding on the grass. And if you look at that map, you'll see the Bicentennial Park fields there. And it starts at the closest end to us where the pool is, kind of goes around. There's just not enough mileage in there without, even if we were to try to utilize that subdivision to the right there, it would be very problematic. So we were doing laps. Kids were going out and back, and that was problematic as far as timing and head-on collisions, things like that. So it made it a little more challenging. This would open up that for us and give us a safer environment, plus the unique and memorable experience about being on the airport. Connects to youth sports with aviation, and we have some ideas about how to do that. Todd wrote a beautiful letter and submitted that to the FAA, and we are waiting on a response, like I said, from that. And that's all the exhibits. I'm not going to go through those with you. I've got copies. Charlie, I see you looking. They didn't put that in here, but I've got complete copies if you guys want to see it. I'll give out to you guys of what we submitted. So you have all of that. The airport areas we're talking about is runway 927, the main runway, be a temporary closing. Also, the adjacent taxiway Alpha would be used to make the complete route. We are indicating that we would close 1836 as a precautionary measure just to avoid confusion and cross traffic or anything like that. It's a grass runway. It doesn't get used very often anyway. It's a little shorter, but that's in our plan there. And then the airport frontage, FBO apron, and parking areas will remain open. Many events that take place at airports, like 5Ks and things like that, will take place at the airport, meaning they're using the FBO parking, they're using the parking areas, they're using the apron for their registration, their packet pickup, all of that. At this event, everything we have is happening over at Bicentennial Park. We're just entering airport property for the bike section and then exiting that. So that's where it varies. Like Leesburg was the example we used before. Leesburg, it closed down the entire runway, the FBO, the apron, the parking, everything for that event because they use the airport as the hub for the event. So we're a little bit different. This is a great map, but it's a little busy, so I'll zoom in for you a little bit. And I'll give you a better map I consider later, but those of you that are familiar with this map, you can see how they'll come in that back gate on the north side there. They'll come in, do a counterclockwise rotation around. They'll go Alpha, make the apron onto the approach or the departure end of, or approach end of 09. And then at the departure end of 09, they'll make the left turn, come back around Alpha, and then just exit back out. So it's one lap around. All the little smiley faces, if you can see those are course marshals that'll be placed along the sides. And then every star is a deputy sheriff. So we have deputies, a couple deputies will be out there just to help us with control if there's any problem with control, but we don't foresee anything like that. Just that's our plan, and I want you guys to see that. This is the map that we use, that we advertise with. It's a little easier to see and understand. But you can see where it starts over at the pool area. That blue box to the left of the pool is what we call transition. This is where the bicycles hang. The kids come out of the swim, they run down, they get on their bike, they put their helmet on, their shoes on, they push their bike out on the road, and then they take off. So these kids will come out, they'll come out towards the entrance of the park, make the left turn, come down that access road to the airport road, come through there. There's a gate where you see the star, the sheriff's star. That's where the gate is on that road. So that gate will be open for the event. Only access will be athletes and staff that are working the event. But there won't be, there was a question last time, would parents be able to go out there and watch their kids? No. There's no public access to the airport property during the event for a number of good reasons. But you can see, again, it's a counterclockwise rotation. They basically get to ride down the full length of the airport runway, make the left, and then come back and come out of that from there. Some points to give you here. It's a temporary runway and taxiway closure will be issued by NOTAM, so that'll be put out in advance. Todd, of course, will be on site through the entire thing. He's going to be wearing his county hat out there. Citrus County Sheriff's Office deputies will be out there as well to help us for whatever reason. The Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Vincent have given their full support with this event. Leading and trailing vehicles will conduct a continuous FOD inspection. So we'll go out there before we even get started, do a FOD sweep. Then we'll place all of our signs out there, put our volunteers in place, do another FOD sweep before the first kid comes out. Once the last bike leaves, another FOD sweep just to make sure we didn't lose any parts off a bicycle. We make sure that's done, and that kind of cleans everything up. They'll pick up the signs and be out of there. And emergency services, of course, will be staged and available for the event. We have Citrus County Fire Rescue. They'll be on site and available throughout the entire event. Airfield communications. I've got to finish getting with Barry and putting together our complete system plan, but basically we're calling a base operations communications team that will work and establish communications in and around the area. Number one, for Charlie's benefit, we're continuously monitoring the CTAF, the TRACON, which is Jack's approach, and we'll probably monitor 119.9, which is Tampa approach as well, but they just come up north of Brooksville. We are literally right, if you take off from Inverness, if you head south, you're almost handed off to TRACON in Tampa almost immediately. So we can monitor both those, plus the guard and emergency frequencies there. So we can monitor all those frequencies and talk to anybody who happens to enter the airspace. If they're not aware of the NOTAM in place, we can make them aware of it and make sure they have alternative landing opportunities if they need to. Our team will have handheld radios used by safety. We're not using cell phones, so everything will be instantaneous. We'll be able to monitor certain frequencies, and we'll be able to communicate quickly if there's any kind of issue whatsoever. And then we have immediate procedures in place to clear the course if necessary, essentially using megaphones with sirens. And during the pre-race meeting, the kids will be instructed, and of course the volunteers, course marshals, will know that, hey, if they get the call that we need to clear the runway, they'll put on the siren, the deputies will put their sirens on, and the kids will be told, when you hear that siren, to move to the grass. Race is over for them at that point on the bike section. We'll move them to the grass, and we'll get them out of the way if there is something that's truly happening as an emergency. Our timeline, just to give you kind of how we're planning on. The race starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, so we're planning on closing 30 minutes early. That should give us adequate time to put everything in place, signs, do our FOD sweep, get everything, volunteers in place, and be ready to rock and roll. First kid goes in the water at 8 o'clock. They get out about 8:03. Then they go to get on their bicycle, and then they ride their bicycle around. So they're going to enter that gate right about 8:08. I can within 30 seconds, I can tell you that's exactly when that kid's going to get there. And by 8:40, because we don't have a lot of kids in that senior section, about 8:40, we should have all athletes clear of that course. Now, that could be 8:36. It's just however fast they go and how long they go. I mentioned to you guys how it starts. It does a time trial start. So it's not a group start. It's not a group. They literally go in the water every 15 seconds or so. So they come out of water every 15 seconds. They go on the bike. So the kids are stationed. So you'll have a kid come on a bicycle and another kid come maybe 15, 20 seconds later. Then you might have one that's really fast that passes one in long, but they're staged out. So by the time they make that loop and come back out, there may be 10 or so. I did that. So there may be 10 or 12 kids that are going to be out there at any given time, because that first kid's already on his way back and on the way out when the next kid comes in off of about 10 deep or so. By 9:01, that gives us another 20 minutes to clear. And like I say, the team's in place, ready to go. They're going to start sweeping and picking up as soon as they'll be behind the last kid doing the FOD sweep and then picking up signs. So easily within 20 minutes, we can be clear and out of there, and the airfield can be reopened at that time. So that's our basic timeline. These kids are competing a lot of, what do they get out of it? Well, besides the confidence builder and the self, commending of that they get from participating, competing, they do get a finisher medal, every one of them, and they get awards for the top 3 in each age group. So 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, every age group gets award, male and female, top 3 in each one. But what we're really pushing in the advantage of this is their introduction to aviation. The airport and county officials recognize the importance of educating the public on the benefits of aviation, and it provides a local and regional economy that it provides to that. That's for mom and dad. That's how that works, right? But what's more important to us is for this event is how does it impact the children? We've got a great Young Eagles program. It's going to be happening here at the end of the month. And if you guys have never seen that, you should make a trip out to the airport. I can't imagine anybody involved in aviation not having attended or being part of a Young Eagles. You can volunteer just to direct, cars or whatever. But it's a great event. Kids get exposed to this, and we're hoping that not only the EAA will have a booth out there, but we're encouraging both Inverness and Crystal River to put a booth out there, because if let's say I have 300 kids out there, I'm going to have 600 parents plus, right? Because they don't come by themselves. They come with mom, dad, other kids, grandma, friends, family. So we've got a large-scale event, a good opportunity. The sheriff's office is going to bring the helicopters in and put them out so the kids can go sit in the helicopter and check that out. And we would love it if the airports had an opportunity, because dad might want to go on a discovery flight. It might scratch that little bit of an itch there too, and we get that going, as well as the Young Eagle promotion part of the program. But that's kind of what we want to do, and melt these two things that are happening because they're so close in proximity. We're right there next to the airport, and for the moment we moved to Bicentennial Park, the kids have expressed an interest in, that's an airport. They see the planes coming in. They stop and watch, as many people do. So that's the short and sweet of it, and if I'm basically here to answer any more questions or concerns. Yes, sir.
Do you guys plan to put the X's on the end of the runway?
Yes, sir. Todd's got those, and we'll place those out there. So we've got both X's. For anybody that doesn't know, they're big, 10 feet or 12 foot, big lit X's that get placed at the end of the runways, so incoming traffic sees the X and that runway is closed. So it lets you know that the runway is closed visually, even if you haven't checked the NOTAM or anything like that.
And so there'll be 4 X's then?
No, there'll just be the 2 there. Do we have 4? We don't have 4. We'll put them at the exit.
Well, there's 2 here and there's 2 here.
Right. That'll just,
If we're
the
closing
green.
1836, we need X's there as well.
You can, you can use other means for X's. It's actually pretty broad.
Okay.
There's people that will use just big chunks of wood.
An X in
Right.
it.
I mean, you can use planks. Yeah, there's
Right, we
ways
can
to
use
do
planks
that.
or something, but that's a good point, Ika. We can make sure we put some indicator on that as well, on both ends. That's no problem.
Burning logs,
There you go.
Or just
Burn ban, but that's okay. We'll just,
You can paint too.
paper
Get away
towels,
Pa-
rolls of paper towels.
And just to add to this, the information was sent to FAA, and it's really up to them. I hope that they find this favorable. I will keep in touch and try to get this moving. But again, the 120 days came up again, and if you, by the time we've got everything submitted as quickly as we could, it's over May 2nd. I hope that it's favorable, and I'll keep you in the loop.
Yep,
Keep everybody in
thank
the loop.
thank you.
Is there a plan B if it's not?
Plan B, we go back to what we did last year. We just run the laps like we did, and we'll start all over again. Ultimately, like I say, we want these two things to join, to make it part of it. The CCEF has a plan to change their logo to incorporate an aircraft. in flying. And so they want to really make that part of it and make that the attraction. We bring in, we put on 4 kids tries across the Florida, state of Florida. This is the largest one we do. We do another one at the YMCA here. We do one in Jacksonville and one in South Florida. But those kids come from all over. They start to, they start to come from Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. They're coming down here. Tampa, Orlando are coming up here for these events. And it's a great experience, and they all have a great time. So I think it's very positive.
Can you send me this PowerPoint? I mean, you did.
I did.
I'm going to make sure that FAA gets it as well.
Okay, sweet.
Any more questions?
How many years have you done this at Bicentennial?
This is our 4th year at Bicentennial. It's the 13th year of the event. It originally was at Whispering Pines, but they moved it to Bicentennial Park when CCEF kind of took over and they wanted to change that. I have 5 copies of this proposal. If anybody, I didn't bring 6, but I got 5 if anybody wants it.
Hannah, do we have them in our packet?
No.
You gave us one last time, I think.
Yeah, well, this has got everything on there, but if you'd like it,
If you want to give me a copy, I can email.
I'm gonna give you 5
That'd be
copies.
perfect. That'd be
That'd
perfect.
be good.
You gonna email it?
Yeah, if you want to give me one of them, I'll
Yep.
scan it in.
Well,
Okay, cool, perfect. Thank you very much.
Anybody else have any comments?
I just have one comment. So the other good part about this is, I know, Chris, you mentioned about Young Eagles, but we also have Eagles program, which is geared for adults. So it's not just bringing kids into aviation, it's also getting an opportunity to reach out to adults that are curious about it and help them figure out how they can get into aviation as well.
It's a super opportunity being that close to the airport, I think, to start a conversation with people and say, hey, you can go fly tomorrow. Come on over and we'll take you on a discovery flight. And a lot of people don't even realize that's an opportunity. There's so many people that don't understand that they can go schedule a discovery flight with a CFI or something and go fly for an hour and just check it out. Also, I have a copy of the insurance. I mean, Todd has this, but there was a question from last time to make sure we have adequate insurance. This is provided through USA Triathlon. They're a sanctioning body, so it's a sanctioned event. We follow all their rules and regulations, and they provide insurance, and the county's covered COI with that. So,
Anybody else? So, thank you very much. I just want to speak in complete support of this, the concept of getting kids more access to aviation and their parents as well, and partnering together I think any diverse groups within the county that can partner together for the benefit of everybody is always a positive thing. And I would strongly encourage EAA, Young Eagles, both airports flight schools to have a presence there at Bicentennial. They offer some very different things. Crystal River offers the Part 141 training in particular. Inverness offers the sport pilot training and the Part 61 training. And I think that working together, we can really make an impact on this for the benefit of aviation to the community. Are we looking for any sort of an endorsement from the AAB on this?
I thought we already had this endorsement from January. It was just Carl, I believe his comment was just he wanted a little bit more information, and I think it was about the insurance as well, if I remember correctly.
yeah, you made the motion
Yeah.
to support
Yeah, it was
that. So.
And we did. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I continue to endorse this, and I hope my fellow board members agree with that. Nobody wants to rescind our endorsement. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We hope that the FAA comes through in a timely fashion. This 120 days can be quite a showstopper sometimes. So let's hope that's not the case.
Yeah, let's hope. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. It's a rain or shine event, but we will delay if there's a rain, like if there's a hard line of thunderstorms coming through, up to 30 minutes.
Okay.
So our NOTAM is going to be from 7:30 to 9:30, but we expect it by 9:01 to be open. But if we have to delay up to 30 minutes, then it would be till 9:30 our timeline. If we go over 30 minutes, then we'll cut that part out. we won't extend it.
If there is weather that prevents this thing from happening, it'll prevent the airport from operating with any meaningful way anyhow.
But we just want to make sure we're in compliance with the NOTAMs and everything that goes through, so that's a good point, thank you. So, but we have, part of the safety plan in that packet, not only has the FAA safety plan, it has our internal safety plan in there, so it's detailed, it covers every aspect.
And let's please ensure that the NOTAM says that both runways are closed, 1836 and 927, and that appropriate markers are placed on 1836.
Understood.
Whatever we need for that. Mr. Vaca, sir.
All right. Great. Thank you. I'm excited to share this project with you. This is the airport's conceptual signage project. Again, my name's Alex Vaca. I'm an aviation planner with Infrastructure Consulting and Engineering. I am the project manager for this project. We have the opportunity to design monument signs that you will see when you drive into Inverness and Crystal River airports. Not only are we looking at monument signs that say, "Welcome to Inverness Airport," "Business Park is this way," we have the opportunity to do wayfinding signs. So as you get on the airport, it'll say Sheriff's Hangar is this way, continue straight to get to the FBO, continue straight to get to the business park, the T Hangar is this way. And then also some smaller entrance signs. When you make your way at Inverness, for example, and you get to the business park, you'll want to have a nice sign in front of that. And maybe it's not as grandiose as the monument sign along the highway, but you'll still want to have signage there. And for Crystal River, the same thing, monument signs, a big monument sign along the highway, and then smaller entrance signs at the FBO, perhaps wayfinding signs along the road to show where all the buildings are. Today I'm going to take you through what our responsibilities are for the project, proposed locations of where we think the signs would be best fit, some ideas as we start to wrap our heads around what we think the signs should look like, and then we're going to show some concepts, and I'll talk a lot about that. That's going to be the meat and potatoes of today's meeting, is to start to narrow down the scope of how many signs ideas. It could be a million different shapes, sizes, colors. The concepts are endless. But with today's meeting, we're hoping to start to narrow that down, and I'm really interested to gauge your thoughts on the perspective of each airport. So let's get to it. In the end, our responsibility is to come up with draft and final concepts for monuments and wayfinding signs. You'll see for both airports. The final package will have renderings, finishes, color schedule, dimensions, you name it, cost estimates. So you'll have a really good final product to take with you, and then depending on the cost and budget cycles, you'll be able to work them in over the next few years, however it best fits. One thing I'll note, our team at ICE, we have a robust architecture section. So the initial concepts that you're going to see today is a combination of our efforts and theirs together, but in further meetings you will see real architecture renderings using photography that we've taken from the roadways, visualizing the sign in its position with dimensions and colors and cost estimates. So it's an exciting project. Here's proposed locations. This is the Inverness Airport. You'll likely not be surprised at what is on this slide. So we use symbols to indicate what each sign is. The largest of the signs would be at the entrance on the north end by Air Methods. That's your Welcome to Inverness Airport sign. The triangles are the smaller signs I talked about. So we thought the Watson entrance probably doesn't need as grandiose as a monument sign as the one on the north side, although that's subject to what everybody would like to do. And then we know the business park would probably be a smaller entrance sign. Wayfinding signs, we're thinking most of the entrances need a wayfinding sign on either end, so that if a vehicle's traveling one way or the other, they know what's there and what's ahead of them. Mm-hmm. For Crystal River, monument sign along the highway, of course. There is an existing entrance sign in front of the FBO where the red triangle is, potentially replacing that, probably along the same theme of the monument sign, so they match, and also the wayfinding signs. We're thinking the theme will carry over between all three. So we start to look at design concepts. First thing off the bat, what is on the airport? And if you can see, there's a theme here. Blue. So blue is an important color at both airports, and white. So we'll take that into consideration as we move forward. We also took, obviously, a look at the individual cities. So the city of Inverness and the city of Crystal River. You see the historic courthouse in the middle there. We know, based on where we are today, we're doing this master plan. We've got Business Park Phase 2 going on. The Inverness Airport is transitioning into a corporate business type environment with technology, manufacturing, potentially aerospace and technical education. So, and then perhaps the theme of the Inverness Airport could be of an industrial nature. Just things to start thinking about if you wanted to customize each airport and have its own theme. Crystal River, a little bit different here, right? Nature, you've got manatees and water. So the theme that we're sort of wrapping around Crystal River is more of a recreation and general aviation, sightseeing, although there is a presence, obviously, of Captain Tom Davis Field, so that there's a military part of this that could be integrated in. When we met with the county, there's been a few meetings so far. We had some internal brainstorming, and we like the county's colors. We like the county logo, perhaps with or without, it's an option. We thought Inverness is probably a sophisticated business look, perhaps integrating a brick type theme from the courthouse, but maybe more metal and aluminum and future modern concepts. The tagline, "Innovation happens here," would likely fit for the Inverness Airport in the sense that it's moving forward and there's a business park and things are happening. So you're kind of going along that line. And then Crystal River, more of a natural tie to the environment, but maybe modern too. We could do it with neat stone or polished wood, metal. And then you see there's some natural nautical elements. So here's where we go. This is a concept I came up with because when we started to make sign concepts, based on the things that I just showed you, we noticed categories come about. Categories of images, renderings of the signs, were then sorted. And I said, let's put each of these category signs into a bucket. Because the goal, I thought that would be nice for this meeting or this discussion to get started to narrow this thing down, is if we put these types of signs into buckets, we might be able to cross off some of the buckets. So you say at the end of this meeting, we definitely don't want brick and we definitely don't want metal at Inverness. I'm just making that up. But maybe we can scope this thing down, and then the next time around when we see you, we give you more of a certain type. And that way we start to go, okay, we know we want it to be a metal sign, but when the next time around, you start to look at the shapes of the sign and the size of the sign, and we can just kind of keep stepping this thing down until we find the sign that we like, okay? Buckets. Here we go. Inverness, stacked stone bucket A. Here's some concepts. It's okay if you don't like all of them. It's okay if you love all of them. But the thing to take special note of is the stacked stone look, okay? There's going to be stacked stone at Crystal River too, but just something to think about. This is one idea. Here is brick, and this has been sort of a brushed white brick to make it a little more modern than a red brick. So do we feel like Inverness would be more along the theme of a brick sign? Metal. Here are several examples of metal signs. The sign on the bottom right, we started to think about traffic driving at a high rate of speed along the highway and needing to see it in two different directions quickly. So you'll notice several signs throughout this presentation where they're in a V shape like that. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's why it looks like that. Modern. Modern is sort of, to me, kind of like going out there on a limb, like pushing the envelope. just thinking of something outside the box. So that's an idea. And you'll notice modern and metal are kind of similar because metal is kind of new looking. Although you'll notice in the next one we go to Crystal River, metal, it can also look kind of retro when we look at the military side. All right, so you don't have to make any decisions this second, but I put this summary slide next to take a pause and see if you wanted to have any internal discussion so far.
Two questions. One, some of these signs are lit, others are not. The ones that are lit, how would we power those lights?
We would need to run electricity to the sign.
There's no way to do it strictly solar?
I think that would be a possibility, yes. I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know the logistics for that. Is it something that, it's unlikely that at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, somebody's going to be driving by to see.
Along England.
No,
Yeah, that's-
just a question.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
but good. For this, I don't see why it would.
So I can hold here if you would like to discuss Inverness first, or I can keep going and take you through similar slides for Crystal River.
I kind of have just one little question that's really applicable to both, is other signs are going up around the county as well. Do we want to follow with that theme or do something different branding? That's something to think about too.
Yeah, and that was, that has been discussed in the past, and when it came to this project, it was seeing kind of where that went.
Okay.
And that was gonna see where we were gonna go. But it was determined that we don't have to follow that necessarily. It is into consideration.
Yeah.
Since we're at such a infant stage of this. But I think the core importance that I understood was each airport kind of has their own identity, but kind of seeing where that goes first and.
Yeah, well, that's why I was just kind of bringing up, there's pros and cons to both sides. It's just
Absolutely.
something for everybody to think about.
I recently, the stacked stone look was approved for county signage.
Yeah.
But on talking with the team, they were very much open to the airports having their own identity and their own signs. So it could go either way.
Yeah, there is, that's why I think Alex said whether or not this sign has the Citrus County brand logo on it or it doesn't. Originally, when it was, yeah, we need to incorporate that, and that we were on hold for a little bit, but now it's an option, If it fits the design, then it fits the design, but until I get other direction, we're kind of being very broad. We want to start shortening it.
The triangle type of sign that you mentioned at the corner of 41 and Watson, what does that look? You've got in here wayfaring signs later on. You don't have an example of a triangle sign. Is that something like this, only smaller?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can, so no, and the reason why is because once the monument sign gets figured out, we are able to know what the smaller monument sign can look like
Just a
based off
smaller
the.
Is that what you're asking? Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes, it's just a small.
Along the same, it's not along the same
Pretty
line.
much.
That's
So,
exactly
and the
right.
reason I ask, right now, Watson's not used very much. I don't know how many people come from the south to the Inverness Airport to go fly whatever.
I do.
A lot of people? A few people? Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, so
But you know where it is.
what do you think ought to be there at the corner of Watson and 41? A huge monument sign like the other
I
end?
think something a little less visible is fine, because when we do events, we always give on our maps, go to the north end, just to keep it consistent.
Okay.
So that people don't get confused, because we found that, I mean, yes, you can get there, but even right now, there is a sign that points to Watson. It's just a small little, standard sign, but most people miss it. And we found that when we put on events, just keeping everybody one consistent way anyways, makes it easier to give them directions there.
Yeah. And there's a cost savings to a smaller sign. You don't have to have a huge monument sign at
Sure,
both
sure.
entrances. Yeah.
All right. Do you gentlemen have an idea, have an inkling to like raise your hand, A, B, C, and D? We could call out A, who likes A best, who likes B best, and so forth. And then we have sort of a general, just a general poll, verbal poll.
I like C.
I mean, I know what I like best, so if everybody's on board with that, who prefers A over all of them? Who prefers B over all of them? Who prefers Charlie, C over all of them? And who prefers D?
He was C.
I see, yeah.
You were C or D?
C.
Charlie.
C.
3 and 3.
Mark, are you abstaining?
No, I said B.
B?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 3 for B and 3 for C. Sounds like
Mark
A,
out.
Well, that narrows it.
sounds like A and D are right out.
Okay.
So there you go.
Progress.
Personally, I really like the idea of the two-way sign. I think that makes a lot
too.
of sense.
Too.
And of course, at Crystal River, do you need a 3-way sign for people coming south and going north on 19? I don't know.
So I have some concepts for Crystal River
Okay,
that you'll see, but they're two-way.
okay, all right. So,
Well, that's helpful.
B or C,
Okay, that sounds great. We'll come back with
as
more.
far as these 6 citizens of Citrus County go. You want to take a straw poll of the audience? Who likes A the best?
Straw poll.
Who likes B the best? Who likes C the best?
Come on.
Hush. And who likes D the best?
Yeah.
Okay, there's some people abstaining here. That's just not right. But it looks as though B is very slightly.
I think that's gonna be hard to beat.
Consistency with the monuments throughout the county, throughout the county right now.
Too.
And that's A, but I wouldn't go A or B, I'd split.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
Great. And I think, I'll just throw it out there, signs, words. Inverness Airport, then you have Business Park, is kind of what are on all the signs, and then you have Innovation Happens Here. Thoughts? Everything
Of
sound
having
good?
all 3 on the monument?
Yes. What do you think about the words that are up there so far? I'll just throw it out while we have everybody together.
Inverness Airport, big letters, business sign, slightly smaller, and Innovation Happens Here is the tagline. Works for me. Yeah.
The airport doesn't have a name like Tom Davis or anything, right?
No.
I mean, it was never.
Great.
You're having a smaller one on for the business area, going straight to the business park.
That's right, and it will have a different, the Business Park will be the larger words.
Right.
Yes. That'll be,
And I personally like the lit concept, the lit sign for so that
Yes.
Right and C.
top right and C.
Yeah, it kind of looks like
That's nice too.
glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't
Great.
have to run power to it either. You can actually use an emergency light system, just like they do for a lot of them, and run battery. So you don't have to worry about infrastructure.
But how does the battery get charged?
Battery doesn't get charged, you just replace them. They're just like the ones that they use at some of the local community centers. They're probably good for 3 to 6 months, easy.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, they just come on at night, sun?
That's all they do. They have a sensor that tells them, lights off, come on. Same ones you'd probably have in the building in case there was an emergency.
You know if they have any options for solar charging on them, or?
Certainly, I'm sure
Oh,
probably.
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Crystal River. We are going with the stacked stone view here. Crystal River. The subtext, Captain Tom Davis Field. Give you a second to look at that.
I guess that's going to forever squash the concept of just calling it Davis Field, huh?
Well, this is the
What-
opportunity.
I don't know. It's, my call. It's been poo-pooed greatly by Captain Tom's widow.
Okay. Here's a military section. This has different inside the military. So you've got stacked stone, you've got metal, you've got wood concepts there, kind of merged together. Wood being tying into the nature side. Okay. Here's some additional nature. This section is challenging. To put a waterfall on a sign along the highway is, you know, or some kind of, to make it, to get the nature in there is a tricky thing, you know. So the one thing on the sign, the second sign has like a water-esque image, but it's, you can see that those were a little more challenging. And then modern/metal.
Oh, I got to say, they're all beautiful. Very, very nicely done to the design team.
The one in deep top, the one you back up,
Yes, sir.
is top right, is that got like a electric sign underneath it? Or where it says Captain Davis and it's big, like, is that would be?
No, no, I think it's a fixed sign with uplighting.
Any other comments, questions? You think straw poll? Those are like A?
And I can go back if anybody wants to see it in full size.
Those are like B?
B.
Those are like C? And those are like D? Mark, to which one did you raise your hand?
Well, I like the military. I think the ones that have the plants around it are going to have a problem because somebody's going to have to fix those plants all the time.
Yes.
Good point, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I like the military one too, I'd like to see it more modern now.
Yeah.
A more modern military.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we're liking probably B and D, perhaps.
all right.
Just the planes themselves on the sign, I like those, whether.
I really like
Yes.
bottom
C
middle
or
right
A.
there.
Yeah,
That's the airplane that Captain Tom flew.
Exactly.
Anyway, throw it out to the public. Who likes A? Can we go back to
Yes,
A,
sir.
please? Who likes A? Who likes B? Who likes Charlie? Not you. Who likes D? Okay. We have a consensus of the room, some 20 citizens of Citrus County,
Perfect.
for what that's worth.
Perfect. And the same thing for the text. I think we're good there. Crystal River Airport, Captain Tom Davis Field. Looks
Except we're not innovative, I guess. Is that true?
well. That's a good question.
What is the motto of Citrus County? Where nature and something thrive?
Nature and
Community.
community thrive.
I thought that was for Citrus County.
I'm just thinking in terms of what you were saying, the whole nature theme of Crystal River. You've got the manatees, you got this and that and the other. Is there a tagline? What? Sorry?
Could be where nature and community fly.
Where nature and community fly?
As long as they don't collide.
Bird strikes.
Well, that was extremely helpful, and it'll, as you can see, if we start to narrow it down, we can give you more. So we have what we need today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We'll get back, sharpen our pencils, and keep going. This is just an example of some wayfinding signs. Don't worry about the colors or shapes. This is just so you know this is forthcoming. Once we figure out the initial concept, we'll be able to make those look better. So we'll take the AAB and public comments from today, continue to work on refining concepts. We'll meet with staff before the next board meeting, and then we'll bring more back to you next month.
Great.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well organized, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Gentlemen,
Well, hello. Thanks for letting us present today. My name is Justin. I'm a program manager with L3 Harris Advanced Laser Systems Technology Group. I have Robert here. He's actually the smart one of the two of us. I'm just the interpreter.
Don't let him fool you. This is a senior program manager. I brought the big guns in. I'm the chief architect, basically.
Yeah, he invents the new stuff. So what we're here to do is present what we would request to coordinate with the airport for some testing that we would like to do. We, as you can imagine, at Advanced Laser Systems Technologies, we develop lasers. We have a small team that we send out to, right now, the only place we have to go is the Cape. And we are stepping up quite a bit the number of programs and products that we're producing. So it turns out that you need a real flat, unobstructed, big range to test at various ranges. And so what our presentation is we'll go through kind of what it is that we're asking to do, first of all, and what sort of impact we imagine that would be, and looking for maybe some buy-in, some concurrence that we could move forward in further details and coordination. Or if it's a hard no, we definitely don't want you around the airport. The airport is ideal not only because it's large and unobstructed, but it's maintained ground, and it's access controlled. So some of these tests, we do start a test and maybe it runs for 15 minutes at a given range. Then we move to a slightly different range and do another sort of set of routines. So that's sort of it in a nutshell, and Robert can go into more details as we get there. So,
Let me go ahead and take this.
yeah, go ahead.
All of you know what a laser pointer is, probably, right? We've all used one. How many of you have been hit with one? Quite a bit, right? You know that those are class 3 and 4 lasers. Those ones actually hurt you. They can actually permanently hurt you. We don't work with those. We work with class 1 and class 1M. You can't get hurt by them. Not unless you actively seek to be hurt. You have to go out of your way, put a giant telescope in the front of the beam, and stick your eye without blinking into it. I'm not saying you can't be hurt, but you really gotta go out of your way. So the laser finders, people are zapping those things all over the place and nobody seems to give a care. We care enough to make sure that you guys are completely informed. We're not gonna withhold any information from you on what we do and how we do it. We're basically gonna set a truck, which is going to house our laser system and all of the computing opportunities we have. And we're going to shoot that laser at a target, which is also basically on a truck. And we're going to go at like 100-meter increments, and we're going to collect data. It's going to hit the target. It's going to reflect back some of the photons, and we're going to collect them and say, yeah, this is we're good. We've got this within our main suite. Then we'll move to the next one. Most of the time, we will run up to 2 kilometers. There are shorter ones. There are even extreme shorter ones where we're only going to do 100 meter, where we're going to determine whether something can be seen in front of one thing or another. And we call that discernment or discrimination, basically. So we're good for, a number of different types and locations. And if you give us, pathways, that's where we're good. We'll be able to sit off on that side wherever you say, our intention is to be out of your way, because that's what we want to do. We don't want to hold up anything. We don't want to close anything down. We're here to pretty much just do business. And so, we're hoping that, we can get together, and that's why I brought Justin along, to continue the business perspective of it. I myself am a hometown boy. I've been here for over 20-something years, so I've pretty much raised here. I went to UCF. I went to Crystal River. So I've been in Florida pretty much most of my life. So I pretty much know the scale of things, and I'm still here working in Orlando. Yeah, so this is the second safety slide. Like, again, I'm not going to hold any data back. You can see what the potential damages are if you get hit with lasers. As you can see on the 1 and 1M, it's negligible to 0. So it starts at a very, very light to nothing. Please.
Yeah, so a couple of notes about this as well. You know, what we're asking for is access to the controlled area. We want to stay out of the way of obstructing traffic as much as is possible, but we'd want to coordinate in case we're somewhere where we need to know not to go past this point, those sort of things. There's more details to work out there, but we have a small team of engineers we send out to do this with some tools. It's all pretty much self-contained. It helps to have ground power somewhere. If that's not possible, we'll bring a generator. But the idea is to be out of the way but also approachable. I started my career, I'm an A&P mechanic. I love airplanes, always have. I remember the day I fell in love with them. I was 4 and a half, speaking of those young kids. I think it's a logical place to do that sort of thing, but the advantage to having just a small group of people is that we could develop a set of rules and protocols, who we coordinate with, how we coordinate, to make sure that it's you know, the necessary folks are made aware when the times are that we would come on, and who make sure that they're aware when we're out, and if there's interested parties who happen to be on the airfield already, they should feel free to approach and ask what's going on. And then the other detail that is probably pretty important here is all of these lasers we're talking about, at least everything that we're currently actively working on in these classes is non-visible. So you wouldn't even notice that the laser's lasing.
No dots.
We have a calibrated reflection board and the sensors. It's all outside of the visible spectrum. Actually, you'd be very familiar with like a rangefinder if you do any shooting or if you play golf.
Rangefinders use, of course, 2 optics, one infrared and one actual red beam, so you can see where you're pointing. That's the difference. You wouldn't see that on our system.
Yep. So, a little more about safety, but we wanted to sort of outline the way that the fixture, the tools are currently set up, the way we sort of execute the operation today. We'd want to replicate that when we come into the controlled area. But I think we have some pictures in here, and that may in fact just speak a little better to what the features are of it.
As you can see, though, even our company requires full safety protocols all the way through. So we have work in pairs situations. We have minimum number of people on site mission. We've got mission control. We've got individuals who are in charge. So all of these things are a necessity for any site visit. And that includes full communication with the site owners. I mean, we need to let you guys know way in advance. There has to be a schedule set up. You guys have to say, yes, that's okay. I mean, there's all of this has to be in place before we come down there with our trucks. Yes, sir.
One quick question. It says as needed. What are you anticipating? How many, I know I can't tell you 100%, but a rough rough estimate.
Yeah, you mean in terms of number of...
How many times you'd be needing the space?
Yeah, so in that case, I did a ballpark estimate based upon our current, necessities, which I told you before is actually going up rather dramatically. But we had about 24 instances in this last year that we used particular range finding. So, that's a ballpark estimate. I suspect with the number of programs we're getting in, come end of late July this year, we'll probably end up having a couple more programs added on, so that'll bolster the numbers, maybe another 6, maybe another 12. So there's those things going on, and if we can split them across multiple sites, it makes sure that we stay within our schedule, and that we get to say that we're helping out the military, we're helping out our program with Golden Dome, which is what the biggest thing is we're providing that protective bubble for America, basically. So that's what we're keyed on, and that sort of thing drives us to be good, be great at our jobs.
Yeah, maybe we're thinking an average would be once every 2 weeks is what we ran. Now, it happens in clusters, sort of fits in spurts. Maybe it's 2 days in a row, then not for 3 weeks, that kind of thing. But all to be planned in advance with the airport, and there's weather days and stuff like that as well.
Any particular airport, looking at Crystal River or Inverness?
We were actually considering both of them if possible, because we have different ranging categories we can use. For the shorter ones, we definitely would love the Crystal River Airport. It's got great possibilities of setting side for 100-meter or 200-meter shots. That would be great. For the longer ones, Inverness has got the space that we would need to be able to sort of truck it up a little bit further, and that's what we were sort of picking at. And of course, we're not dropping our current one. That's our baseline right now. But if Citrus County becomes a lot more potable and available, we're gonna switch away from the Mosquito Fest and actually come here.
Is it happen during the day or night?
Daytime is preferred. We could technically do it at night, but it's just
How many people on the crew when you do it?
3 to 4.
The total crew generally is 1 senior scientist, 1 engineer, and 3 technicians. That's a standard crew.
Can you be in the grass and do it, or do you have to be on a flat surface?
We can certainly be in the grass as long as it's as long as it's straight and decently flat, so that we don't have too much degradation one way or the other.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want it need to be dry, right? You wouldn't want to be driving through a spillway or something and
we
sink the
wouldn't
truck. That'd be a lot of fun. So this is you want to talk them through what we're looking at here? So we have a couple of images in a row. And then after all of this, we have sort of just a Google Maps view with a couple of lines on it that we had sort of just picked out as potential places of the Inverness Airport that could accommodate more of the longer shots. It goes down, there's like some paths and certainly open to adjusting all of that stuff. It was just from the satellite view, from the 10,000-foot view.
Yeah, while I'm familiar with the Crystal River Airport very well, I'm not familiar with as much with the Inverness one. It just never had to visit it there before. So I don't have as much visual observation with that one, which is why we use the camera footage.
Yeah, so these are some actual images of the setup we currently run out at the Cape. And so it's sort of, to set up the scene here, it's broken into, we have sort of most of our equipment in the back of a truck you're looking out of here, and then in that red circle way in the back is the other half, which is the target itself.
All right, so that one you're looking at is at 300 meters.
Go ahead.
What's your longest shot?
For
5
most
kilometers.
most of them is 2 kilometers. We'll go out as far as anyone will let us, basically. But most of the time we can average our data set for about 2 kilometers. But like I said, we do have other shorter shots, which we actually do take. They're just a different test. And in this case, you can see that the target is, which one is it? The upward?
Center one.
one. The target is way out there. It's at 300 meters off to the sort of center line. You can see that we have the actual laser. That the laser, just to give you an idea, is about this big. So it's not big at all. It looks like it's bigger in the picture. Next to it is a scale finding sighting. We use that to make sure that we're on site. And then the other thing behind it is all the computer systems that we run. Generally 3 to 4 computers doing different tasks. So it's a relatively small amount of articles that you'd use to run something like that.
Those scopes, by the way, are just standard rifle scopes.
Yeah,
With
they're-
no rifle, I should emphasize that. We're not, not gonna scare anybody.
Where we were at, that would be a very bad thing. We're in the NASA facility field, so they would not be happy about that. So this shows you the footage from the actual street, what the target's looking back at, and you can see now clearly that you have the tripod with the actual laser. You can see in the back there, those are carry cases, and what we carry in those are the actual reflective sheets, and I'll show you those in a bit. And of course, you see extension cords there now. Where we are at NASA, they provide us some extension cords that they run from a base power location, and we plug those into a UPS system, an uninterrupted power supply system, which mitigates sharp spikes and makes our power gradient. Anyways, and then that ties back into the entire system, so we can run without interruption, basically. And when Justin said that we can, bring our own power, we certainly can. I mean, that's not a big deal. We would prefer if we tap in because it makes things easier, but
And it's quieter.
it's quieter. We don't have to lug so much stuff around. And so that's pretty much it on this one. And now we get to the target. The target area, you can see there, those are specialized sheets. They actually give a Lambertian field reflection of probably about 50% on this one. The other ones, the white ones, are 20%, but those are not up at this time. It's pulled by a trailer, which is, it's basically got like a base stand on it, which holds the top reflector on top. And as you can see, I pointed out we have a pickup truck to yank the thing around. This is pretty much the setup. We run it down the road, we shoot, we run it down the road, we shoot. It starts out at 100-meter increments up to about 1,200 meters, and then we start running at 200 and then 300 until we get to 2,000. And the place where it's at, the mosquitoes are rather large, so we would like to remove ourselves from that possibility and the possibility of snakes from this swamp area.
Yeah, if anybody's looking for some extra sauna time, you're welcome to spend some time in the back of that truck, too. But I think if it's not clear, I want to make clear that in the case we would like to operate, it's preferable to operate, we move the target, not the source.
That's correct, yeah. The source remains stable and solid, whereas the target's the one we're moving. Okay, and so what we went ahead and went into, you asked the question, what sort of facility support we would need, and we thought about that hard and fast, and we thought about, well, we definitely like to have some power, and we know airports run weather reports, so if you wouldn't mind sharing those are great, because that actually affects our laser responses. So if you tell us what the pressure was, what the temperature was, what the humidity was, we can actually incorporate that data into our actual subset instead of relying upon our own equipment. We'd have the airports to compare it to. And if you have room, we would say, well, if you don't mind storing some things, that'll help us. We won't have to constantly bring it back and forth, but we're not opposed to doing that. It's just, if you ask what we'd like, this is what we'd like. This explains the crew again of what I was explaining before. You can see clearly that we keep it tight. We don't actually have a lot of people. We'd be open to badging or whatever else you'd want to do to us to make sure that everybody knows we're okay to be here, we're okay to be doing this, and that's totally acceptable. We do that at other places without a problem. So we're completely open to that.
We also do that at our own place.
Well, yeah. and even if it's you say make sure you have your badge on you. Okay, absolutely, we're going to do that. You can see I've listed out the full set of materials. The largest piece is that 6-foot A-frame. That's it's pretty simplistic stuff. We work with bear skins and bone knives to get our stuff done.
Yeah, I did a build out in the middle of the desert where they used to launch the A-bombs for when you could go to Vegas back in the 50s and watch an A-bomb go off, apparently. And we were doing a demonstration for a customer who there was some SHOT Show going on and they wanted to see this thing. So we literally I got the SUV stuck out there, but we just took some 2x4s and some plywood out there and set up a target and just posted up on the hill. And it was a perfect kind of bowl setting where you wouldn't be reflecting on any civilization of any type. But it's pretty simple. As far as the equipment needed. We use, for these tests, of course, the calibrated reflections, and so we know sort of the results of the atmosphere and the different performance over those different sort of environments. But, for the whole purpose is to make something that works robustly in all environments. So when you're doing a demonstration, you just lays up whatever.
This, of course, recalibrates itself on the idea of your scheduling, and we have our scheduling set up at least 3 months in advance. So that allows us a lot of play to be able to update as necessary, reschedule as necessary. So, that gives you a lot of time to be able to either prep for something or say, hey, fly off. No, not today, not tomorrow. And that's fine. We can reschedule and refix things. So that's really, we put that in the supplier's hands and say, you guys tell us when's good.
Or not good.
Or not good. And as you're seeing here, we've got what we're looking for sort of in how we expect to run through. As you can see, they're not exclusive use of the runways. Like I said, we prefer to be out of your ways entirely. But we also would like it if somebody doesn't, come over and jump in front of the laser, because we have to now restart the test.
Could you, I don't mean to interrupt, but would you mind skipping ahead a little bit to this specifically here, for example?
Absolutely, yeah.
So this is Scotland.
Yep.
That is.
Yeah. It's Inverness,
That is not
Scotland.
Inverness, Florida.
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Hence the presence of the Scottish ambulance.
Yeah, that's what that caught my attention.
Scottish name.
Nice work.
Yeah.
It's in the UK.
We both missed that, didn't we? Well, that airport would work.
Yeah, that airport.
I'm sure it would, but it's not our airport.
But also, I guess if you go back to that, the point that maybe is worth making is there were no less than 4 locations here that specifically stay out of the way of the runway. And that didn't include the secondary.
And initially, I included Crystal River in here too, but that seems to have.
But none of them give you anything close to 2.
We actually measured that.
Did they give you enough?
Even though this is the wrong one, we had measured initially. Todd had asked us to put it back in basically, and got the wrong one in the process because we were in a hurry, last minute stuff. But we had done Crystal River, and we'd set Crystal River up specifically so you could see all the pieces there. We found out that Crystal River runs up to about 1.2 kilometers max, which is perfect for the smaller ones. And then we did find a 1.5 kilometer one along Inverness, along a particular route. So that one, and it looked like we could extend out a little bit further. We went into the grass both ways, and we might actually hit that 2 kilometer range.
Yeah, there was a path that goes along the glide slope antennas or something like that. That seemed like.
So we did the analysis on the right one. It just got captured wrong because it was.
So for example, Crystal, I think you have a picture of Crystal River.
Well, I thought I did, but
presentation?
it
yeah,
did.
there wasn't
I
the
messed
one-
that up for us. That's my
Okay,
fault.
well, there you go. So, yeah, I had that in there.
Yeah. My apologies for that.
So are you thinking of being on the runway then, on the taxiway, or on the grass?
So preferably we'd stay on the grass.
Yeah, as much away from.
Maybe cross runway if
it's
we need
possible.
to, but that would be only if it's necessary. I mean, ideally, we're off on the one side of the airport somewhere, but it's still controlled area that.
So then the question is a runway operable when there are trucks and men working on the side of the runway?
Yeah, and that's actually what we were considering too, is what's your keep out zone? And if you have a keep out zone specifically like 30 feet, 60 feet, or whatever else, can we operate safely next to your keep out zone and not have any problems that way?
And so you're going to be there for 10 to 12 hours, which means that if you are on the north, for example, Crystal River, if you're on the north side of the runway, you're impeding the taxiway, that's not going to work.
Correct.
So you have to be on the south side. The south side is not particularly flat. It's fairly hilly, and
Yeah, our concern with that would be line of sight. So in other words,
Okay.
as long as the hills reside under the actual laser scope, then it's still a viable shot location.
okay.
And like I said, we'd be only using that one for the small ranges, so 100 meters is probably 200's max. is what we would use. So it's, if we can find a straight flat shot on Crystal River, 200 meters long, out of people's way, that's beautiful, we're done.
Okay.
In Inverness,
That's the more complicated one because the routes are a little harder to peg. But we thought we saw a couple of minor roads that sort of ran this way, and then the road and there was another minor road that ran parallel to the actual runway but wasn't on it. So it was on its own road basically. And we measured that off. We got like 1.3, 1.4 kilometers. And we thought we could actually go out a little further, right to the fence lines, if you will, and pick up that other, half a kilometer that way on both ends. And that would be a perfect shot range for us, and we would be far enough away from the actual runways. We were, because, you have roads there, I would hope.
Seems like a maintenance path or
Yeah.
something like that.
And so that was the idea, is we would, broach that possible. But once again, the biggest thing is we come to you and say, what do you think's a good path? Where do you think we can sit? And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. We'll measure it out and see if it's viable, see if we can actively do it. And, we might even, if you guys would mind having a tour for us and bring us up there and say, this is what we think we can, do, or what would be viable. We are open to that, to, measure it out, make sure we've got potential there.
I would argue that, having these guys on the airport would be no more, onerous than, what goes on every, at least twice a week. People out there mowing the grass and that kind of thing. It doesn't seem that intrusive to me.
right.
So, and the point, really, what we were hoping to do was communicate sort of what it looks like, the test looks like, and see what kind of ground rules we could put in place if you're open to it, and we'd keep out zones and stuff like that, and trainings.
How long would it take you from start to finish, to get a set of data?
To get I'm sorry, say again?
How long would it take you from start to finish to get a set of data?
Right, so that can actually depend, but I can give you a range. We've had data sets from 6 hours, meaning that it went pretty fast, pretty smooth, we didn't have any interruptions. Of course, these numbers are from the NASA site, which has an active road that constantly can intercept us and turn off the 15 minutes and restart the 15 minutes. So we've had ones where we didn't have any activity, and it gave us about 6 hours to get all the data. And we've had ones that were monumental. We started at the wrong time. They started coming out for lunch. They started coming out for breakfast. They came back from lunch. They came back from breakfast. And so we'd end up with this monumental 10 to 12 hours that we would have been done in 6, but.
Yeah, so, but also, I think to add to that, once you set up at your range, right, it's about 15 minutes to run the routine.
That's correct.
Of start to finish.
Yep.
If it's uninterrupted, we got that range data locked in. We run all the scripting and all the measurements.
Right, it's not a start over, it's a start over for that section. So that means, for instance, I would have 10 data points from 100 meters to 1,000 meters. And so that's that number, 15 minutes there. Then I have a data set, 200, 200, 200, and 300, 300. And so it's, on average, 17 shots, thereabouts? So 17 times 15 minutes, your ballpark about 6 hours.
Well, it sounds to me as though what we really need to have you gentlemen do is come up with, is tour each of the airports and look at pinpoint exactly where it would work for you to make this work. Because as Charlie said, for example, the grass runway 1836 at Crystal River gets mowed during the summertime, every week or so, if not more often, and the airplanes on 927 don't seem to care. So that's not a problem. I don't know specifically what the requirements are for workers on, let's say, the side of an active runway, let's say south of 927. I don't know how far off they have to be legally in order for that not to be considered.
I can provide a map for sure to show the object-free area and where that's at, how far away it need to be for the south part of the airport. Of course, I'm sure FAA would have to clear any of this, that if they did use the turf runway, I can see why that would be the most ideal in some regards, but that would also require us to
Closing that runway for
close
some
that
period of
runway
time.
down. Yeah, that, a few things I would need to check up on, and I would definitely recommend going to the airports and taking a look if this is a viable option.
Having as little to do as you normally do during your day, are you able to provide them with a tour of each airport at some point?
At my convenience.
At your convenience?
And we're not subject to the 120-day rule.
No.
That doesn't bother us.
All joking aside, of course, just schedule something, no problem. I'm at the airports all the time inspecting all sorts of things, so, yeah, that's not an issue.
Does L3 pay the county for doing this?
Yes.
Yep.
I was gonna say, we got some corporate hangars down in Inverness that L3 could.
Yeah, as soon as we can get some type of, agreement going on, there's definitely lucrative possibilities.
Then my suggestion would be that you folks coordinate a time that he's going to be out at each airport, and then you guys join him. You don't have to wear a coat and tie at the airport unless you want to.
Understood.
And see what, come up with specific proposals for each airport. And of course, if you want to go to Scotland, that's fine too. I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
That's where the 120-day wait comes in.
We also have developing a business park too, if there's any thought or interest of any type of facility that this can help out too, that is a possibility.
Yep, you mentioned storage, that may be an option there.
Absolutely, that could be part of the contract or whatever else we invest ourselves in.
Yeah, so thank you for hearing us out. Really appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.
Oh, and for your signs, make sure that the reflectivity is not too high, otherwise you're gonna get people running off the roads.
Oh.
Exactly. Not good, not good. All right, no tower updates, no airport security updates, board communication. Any board members have anything they'd like to bring to the table? Charlie? Charlie did look up what other airports nearby use 118.725. There is an airport up in Tennessee and another airport over in Mississippi that use that frequency.
They should be far enough away.
Well,
One would think.
but I think I know where the problem is. Williston uses 118.425. That's 100 kilohertz
Yeah.
difference. And it's entirely possible if you got an old ancient radio that ought to be in the trash pile, that you could get enough bleed over to
Yep.
affect it. But like I said, coming back from Georgia, in 182 at 10,000, we got the Crystal River AWAS just fine.
Yeah, that was information that came to me, but Williston, that sounds probably the culprit. But with these AWAS is also being totally replaced with
I
new
don't know what
equipment.
frequencies are available, but if we're gonna replace the AWAS, it might be appropriate to look for another slightly different frequency.
And I've only heard, I'm not, I mean, the complaint just passed along to me, but that's the only one I've ever heard of. So,
He was tuned into AWAS for Williston.
but let me know if anybody else runs into that issue.
Anybody have anything else? Any members of the public have anything else that they'd like to bring forward? Okay. Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 12th, 2 p.m., this building, this room. And if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by Charlie.
Second.
Second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.